On the profile interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with the national president of NULGE. He brings us up to speed on how workers in the local government sector are faring and also their expectation from the incoming government. It's good to have you on the program.
A pleasure, Madam Sharon.
Well, congratulations. This is the first time I'll be speaking to you as the National Treasurer of the Nigerian Labour Congress. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on very quickly, Nigeria is transitioning from one government to another. We have a president-elect, and I know that as the national president of Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, you would have your expectations. What are the expectations of your members?
Well, let me congratulate Nigerians. Despite all the criticisms and the perceived shortcomings during the electoral process, we've successfully concluded an electoral process. You know, before the election, there were fears, there were agitations. People are saying because of insecurity that maybe the election will not go through. Most especially coupled with the hardship inflicted on Nigerians through the withdrawal of cash from the economy, and which meted untold hardship on Nigerians. People felt that could have provoked restlessness and what have you. But we thank God Almighty, Nigeria is a praying nation. God sees us through. And now the election has been decided. My appeal, number one, to those who lost out, in quotes, is that they should explore the judicial process to seek redress on the process. However, it is not yet uru for even the pronounced winner, because it is time to go back to drawing board to bring Nigeria out of the woods. As of today, Nigeria is not moving forward. Nigeria is not progressing. Talk in terms of security, we are still not there. It's not even safe to move around the country. So setting agenda for the new government will start from security. That is the local government policing, that at least will be able to stem the tide of insecurity in Nigeria. We should not continue to pretend. The time is ripe. We need state police, we need local government police, so that all the interiors will be well policed, because security challenges are local, the solution to it is local. Number two, in making governance more impactful to Nigerians in addressing poverty, addressing massive infrastructural gap, in addressing the issue of women neglect and youth restiveness, in addressing unemployment, in addressing poverty generally. It is time to prioritize granting absolute autonomy to local government in Nigeria. There are no two similarities to federating units everywhere in the world. Federating unit or federation is tailored toward the the respective need of each nation. And Nigeria has multi-nations within a nation need to address a myriad of problems. The peculiarity of our problem differs from other nations. So playing politics by saying we only need two federating units occasioned by greed, corruption, and zeal to continue to impoverish local government system should be the thing of the past. Because no matter how effective a federal or state government is, for them to be impactful on the rural communities, local government must be strong. We have to deepen democracy at local government level. We must grant financial autonomy to local government level. So that for now, those cream la cream of the members of the society who are well-to-do will retire to their local community to contribute to the local governance and give a political inclusiveness to rural areas.
Talking about inclusiveness, we are very much aware that the local government is supposed to bridge the gap between the state government and the people. It serves as intermediary. Looking at your experience as a local government worker for many decades, in what way would you say that local government has been hindered, local government workers have been hindered to perform their responsibility vis-a-vis the issue of security challenge that we are faced with in the country?
Number one, local government workers have been hindered from performing optimally their function, the constitutional roles, and also all these roles prescribed by statute book. For example, under Schedule 4 of the Constitution, in terms of generating revenue, in terms of providing infrastructural development, in terms of even creating a political involvement and participation at local government level, is no longer there because local government has been impoverished. We have professionals who are competent at local government level. Most of them are going about without doing much because, one, the tools and equipment to provide this infrastructure are not there. That's why the planning and the competence of local government workers. Number two is that even local government democracy has been eroded. Once we don't conduct a free and fair, transparent election at local government level, the crop of political leadership that now head local government are less than expected. So at the local government level, local government can no longer deliver the expected roles and functions to Nigerian people because the state government deliberately cripple local government system by diverting their revenue and also promulgating obnoxious law that ultra-vires the constitution in seizing forcefully the revenue that is expected to be generated by local government. And also, the concern did not even help matters alone. We have federal civil service in the constitution. We have state civil service commission in the constitution. The local government service commission is not included in the constitution. So the body that is expected to carry out productivity measurement at local government level is not embedded in the constitution. And when you look at the appointment of Auditor General for local government, that has fallen within the purview of the state government. And because of the peculiarity of local government accounting system, that cannot allow optimal performance at the local government level. Local government department of audit should be headed by technocrats and a chartered accountant, forensic auditors from local government level. So because of all this, local government has not performed optimally. But that's why we clamor for the actualization of local government autonomy. And thank God, God of autonomy is alive. Those governors who work against autonomy lost their contest to come and retire into the National Assembly because God of justice is against them. What we have witnessed is that those of them who move around, who campaign openly, who express their opposition to local government autonomy, except one of them, the Ekiti governor, who escaped the contest. Had he been in contest, we know he would have lost because God of autonomy is against them. It's a lesson to those who were elected to stand on the part of Nigerian people. And as they go into National Assembly, it is not yet to huru. No retreat, no surrender. NULGE will continue to engage the political class to ensure we actualize local government autonomy. Until we are able to do that, we cannot grow the local GDP. And once you don't grow local GDP, you can't grow state GDP, and the low national GDP will continue to suffer. Setting another agenda for the government, the erratic power supply must be addressed. It's not only by decentralizing the control and generation of electricity. The haphazard and incessant increment in electricity tariff is criminal. So there must be an appropriate regulatory body to monitor that. There must be equal service for equal pay. And the excuse which the power companies are hiding on by failing to deliver appropriate meter to Nigerian people is fraudulent. So the new government must take a deliberate policy to ensure that all premises in Nigeria who are consumers of electricity are metered freely, so that they will be able to calculate what we consume and will be able to pay appropriately. Setting another agenda, there is infrastructural gap. As of today, even the international airport can no longer service Nigerian people. And when you look at the way the services are performed there, nobody appears to be in control. In fact, I continue asking myself, do we have any minister of aviation in this country at all? That their cancel flight, their delay flight. Nobody seems to be in control. Nobody seems to be in charge. So we must have a responsive government that will be able, because the airport is the point of entry by any international body to enter Nigeria. The impression they go with matters. Go to other countries. The airport speak volume about their tourism potentials and they welcome people. In Nigeria, there's an erratic power supply in the airport. You don't see any development. You can't go to the toilet. very poorly maintained, and there is infrastructural gap. So we must have our airport, land port, seaport must be addressed squarely, because that can be the cash cow for Nigeria. Again, too, the road infrastructure needs to be addressed. We thank God this government attempted to do little in terms of rail system, but all the city centers must have metro line so that it can convey people to and fro the city centers. And again, we must prioritize upgrading rural roads, because if we must address food sufficiency, we must ensure that we have maximum food security. We must make life meaningful at the rural community setting. We must make sure the rural roads are open up. We provide security there. We provide element of social service at that level, in terms of education, in terms of health facility, and what have you. And that can only be achieved through local government, granting, strengthening local government as a tier of government. And again, we must also look at the issue of our gender policy in Nigeria.
Very poor.
We must look at the issue of gender policy. What happened during the outgoing assembly should not be allowed to be. Women should be given a voice. Women should be given a role. You should be given a voice. Women should be given a role. There must be a deliberate policy that should be sacrosanct. There's no reason why we can't give 35% to women in politics, in governance, and what have you. And we must also look at the youth too. If we are able to give another 20 or 30% to youth too, they constitute the bulk of the voters and the consumers of services in Nigeria. So we must also address the issue of family court. All these obnoxious cultural beliefs, taboos, and what have you must be addressed. Women and youth should not be allowed to suffer. And we must also, the new government must have a clear-cut agenda for social development. There must be a social policy backed by social legislation to ensure that the vulnerable members of the society are protected properly. And again, another agenda for this government is that they must observe the rule of law. All court judgment must be obeyed, unlike what we are witnessing when a governor of central bank would openly and brazenly fail to comply with a judgment of Supreme Court. Nigeria is not a banana nation. We need a president that must obey the rule of law. Once we are able to do that, we'll be moving forward.
Moving forward once again, at the local government level, you've served for many years, and we still have that trend of some state governors not paying workers' salaries, while some have already used their initiative to upgrade the salary beyond the current national minimum wage. We still have a state like Lagos, state like Edo, they are way ahead, but we still have some that refuse to even implement the old national minimum wage. What is the data you have on your table?
You see, the inability or the deliberate refusal of some state government to implement minimum wage is not because of inability to do, but it's because of lack of will. You ask yourself a question: why is Zamfara governor earning the same salary like Lagos governor? And Zamfara governor is one of the least paying government in Nigeria. Even Borno State is the same thing. And they are earning the same salary. So if you go to equity, must go with clean hands. If you know that your economy in the state cannot be sufficient enough to pay this, why are you not coming to the level of an average worker? All of them are appropriating humongous amount of money in terms of security vote, in terms of office expenses, in terms of transportation and logistics, in terms of impress, in terms of so many things, name it. And they have retinue of employees that are jobless, doing nothing. And those who are working, who are the engine room of development, are neglected. It is injustice to the workers. And I know that the new leadership of NSC is proactive. We are going to cooperate. We are going to support him to achieve it. Everywhere, just like he said in his acceptance speech, any case of injustice against workers must be condemned and must be addressed squarely. So we know that so many states in the federation, there are some who just decide that this will be the percentage I'm going to use to pay salary. Whether workers are paid or not, they are less bothered. And some of them go out, they convert the money into dollars and they start squandering the money. But we thank Nigeria for punishing some of them during the last election. And, you know, let me commend INEC and the National Assembly for the electoral reform. It is no longer Uhuru. Nigerians are watching. Don't think it's like before that you'll be able to rig out. If some of the powerful and the power that be lost in their various states, you know there is a revolution. And again, too, the third leg is coming. You can see what is happening now. Nobody expected that there will be the third leg will come up and go this far. So for us, it's a signal to political class that it is no longer business as usual. Youth are now more alive. They've attempted it now, and next election, you'll see wonder in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.